What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are awesome. Dave, how you doing, man? Nice to see you in here. I'm looking right at my Halloween 5 mask right now. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm doing all my setup right now. Looks like my mic's on. Check 1 2. Check check. So I might be going public again. I see Dave in here. And here's the problem. I think when I go unlisted, it doesn't shoot out the notifications to you guys. That's what I'm thinking. So, let me know if you can hear me though, Dave. My chat might be lagging a bit. Actually, let me see if I can do it from here. Checking on my patrons. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so let me do that. Hit that. Checking my phone right now. Okay, it says 3 watching now. Jason, what's up, man? How you doing? But I'm. Let me know if you guys can hear me. That is not coronavirus, I promise. I got this light. I bought this ring light, and it's really hot. So I'm gonna have to turn on the fan. Let me see if I can open this up in. My dog's going crazy. He's trying to mess with the. Hey, leave the VHS alone. All right. I'm not. Let me. Now, can you guys type something in there? I'm not seeing. Can you guys hear me? I'm not seeing anything in the chat. I see Haley and I see Hello Lee from Dave and Jason. Let's see. How can I get in? Let's see. So okay, here we go. So still putting my kids to bed, but I will be tuning in. Okay, cool. Cool. No problem at all, man. No problem at all. But you can hear me. Sweet. That's good. That's good. Okay. So I think let me turn on my fan because it's really freaking hot. And you take care of your kids. And I got Night of the Creeps ready to go right here. And let me turn on this fan. Ebert, how are you doing, man? Nice to see you. Yeah, I just saw your comment on Patreon. I wish... See, it's hard for me to pull this up because I'd like to be able to communicate through my phone because I'm having to reach like way up. So let me see if there's a way I can sign in through here. Let's see, hold on. Your videos. See, it doesn't give you the option to go to the live section. Oh, here it is right here. I see it. Okay. So I can click on that. I can sign in through here. Let's see. Hold on. Hey, look, I can hear myself. Okay. How was your guys' day? See, it doesn't give you the option to go to the. And I'm going to turn that down. Okay, so I'm going to type something in my phone. Hello. Let's see if that pops up. So I hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. So I'm going to turn on my fan, and we're probably going to go public with this thing again like we did last time. Because I think it might be an issue with with it being unlisted. I'm not sure. So we're probably going to go public so that way we can get some more voices in here. That way we can get a lot of opinions on Night of the Creeps. So, hold on just a second. Let me turn on my fan, though. All right. So it says we got 5 watching. Now how's everybody feeling about the coronavirus? Let me know. None of you are infected, I hope. Okay, I'm going to go public with this thing. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, I just switched it to public. Probably get some more people rolling in here. I love that Halloween 4 Myers bandage mask. Yeah, me too. Sean, what's his name? Sean Michael Cadlick. He has a Facebook page called, I think he still has it, called The Wrap. H88 The Wrap. I think if you type that in Facebook, you can find it. And I think a couple years ago, he sent that to me, and it is glorious. Jill, how are you doing? Nice to see you in here. My newest patron. That's so cool. I finally got the Horror Ghoul on my Patreon page. It's too awesome. Too awesome. Yeah, I see some people starting to roll in. Let's see. Crown the Empire. What's up, man? How are you doing? Nice to see you. We are going to do Night of the Creeps. Now, I got this new setup here. And I got my computer. I look farther back because I got my computer sitting on Jolene. And so now I'm like looking up, whereas I used to look down. Frank Castle, how you doing, man? I'm watching Hellraiser Bloodline for the first time. Bloodline, that's the 4th one, right? Bloodline is a decent one. It's I think Bloodline is like the last good one until you get to the last Hellraiser. Gary Tunicliffe, Michael Pavone, what's up, brother? I hope to see you at Spooky Empire. But Gary Tunicliffe, he what's the name of that? Hellraiser Judgment. Yeah. He actually sent me a message on Instagram last week. he finally saw my review for Judgment. And I saw this message on Instagram. I was like, "Who is this? Somebody's giving me kudos for the Judgment review." And sure enough, it was Gary Tunicliffe, the freaking director. And I was like, "Dude, thank you so much, man. That was nice." And I was being honest. I thought his movie was a nice step in the right direction after so many bad Hellraiser movies. So yeah. Dave says, "I just got a Halloween 4 bandage mask." Donald Newton, what's up, man? Thank you for that. So I'm writing the Ghostface story in the screenplay form. Also, I'm getting married. What? Congratulations, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Make sure you guys all say congratulations to Donald. That is too badass. EEZ2184. Love this movie. Christian Nieper. Howdy, what's up, man? I saw Beth S. up there. I'm sorry. Yeah, there she is again. Congratulations, Donald. Beth S. is my my wrench. She's going to keep you guys in line. Better not get out of line. Heartbreaker. I haven't seen Heartbreaker in a long time. I wish the director of Hellraiser Judgment commented on my review because my buddy says that is my best review. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. These nuts on your chin. I said it out loud. Congrats. That's great. Cool. Are you guys ready to do some Night of the Creeps? Night of the Creeps. This is one of my favorite zombie films. It might be my favorite. It just feels so different than every other zombie film out there. So I'm gonna load it up right now though, guys. Because I rearranged my room and I set up my VHS backdrop. Jill, thank you. You didn't have to do that. That was very nice. Big hearts to you too, red hearts and black ones. I set up this VHS backdrop and I moved my big 55-inch 3D TV into the den in there. So this morning it dawned on me, I'm doing this commentary tonight and I don't have a TV outside of Jolene in here, and I don't even want to try to hook up a Blu-ray player to Jolene. Jolene would probably explode if I hooked up a Blu-ray player to her. So luckily I had a 32-inch TV in my son's room, and my son just moved out. He actually got a job in Orlando and he's living in Orlando now and having a great life, moving on. And I took his 32-inch TV, and so I have it right here. I'm looking at it right now, and I got my Blu-ray player down there, so we can still watch the movie. It's a makeshift. So, Brody Ken, what's up, man? Heartbreaker says, "I'm sorry, I don't come to any live streams anymore. I'm actually I get panic attacks around too many people, and when any live streams has over like 20 people commenting, I don't really like to watch it." Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Hedwig, what's up, man? Nice to see you in here. Do you like the movie Glass and Unbreakable and Split? Yeah, I like all three of those movies very much, actually. Thank you, Jill. I'm trying to make my setup look half as good as your setup, because your setup is glorious. It's freaking amazing. And if we could all have a setup that's a fourth as good as Jill's setup, check her out, Horror Ghoul, on Instagram. She has an Instagram page on there, and she always has like the greatest looking pictures, the lighting, everything is top notch. And Jill is like one of the nicest people you could ever chat with. So, Crown the Empire. Hey, now I'm your newest patron. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Very nice. All right, I know you guys are waiting for me to start this movie. Let me turn the power on. I just like chatting with you guys, you know? I know you're waiting to freaking get this movie going so we can chat about it. And this is going to be the most unprofessional commentary you guys have ever seen, okay? You'll be surprised by how unprofessional this is going to be. So, we're all going to just have a nice conversation about this movie, bounce ideas off of each other. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lumpy Space 88, good evening. Now, Lumpy Space, have you been to a Drumdums live stream before, or are you getting your Drumdums live stream cherry popped right now? Has the movie started? No, Charles Lee Ray, it has not started yet. The story Taylor, greetings from Portugal. So nice to see so many horror fans come together. That's what it's all about. First time watching Night of the Creeps. This is your first time watching Night of the Creeps? Holy crap. You're selling me? Haha, so sweet. Thank you. You sell yourself, Jill. And Beth, I constantly have to give Beth props because if not for Beth, I wouldn't be the vinyl fan that I am today. She really turned me on to so many vinyl movies, but the problem is it's an addiction now. It's such a, and I had to pump the brakes there for a while. And Beth, she'll send me like links to like these. She's able to find like all those deep tracks, deep cut vinyls that it's just, I'm never like, she's on the money. She's always ready to go. Holy crap, Crown the Empire. Thank you, man. You didn't have to do that. Holy crap. Yeah, we came for the commentary, but I'm sure we all love talking to you as much as you do talking to. Yeah, man, I love talking to you guys. I was literally just talking about this to my wife today. It's like, and my coworkers, I love my coworker. This guy I work with, Roberto, he's awesome. I work with him. But Roberto has 5% of the movie knowledge that every one of you probably has. And 2% of the horror knowledge. Roberto says he's scared to death of horror movies. He can't watch them. They freak him out. He said today, because I told him I was planning on something for Friday the 13th, and he said he can't watch any of the Friday the 13th movies. They scare him too much. So, can you guys see my face enough, or do I? It's probably not a bad thing if you don't see my face, but Will Smith, what's up, man? What's up? I'm working on sending you a vinyl package soon. Ooh. Beth knows the way to my heart. She knows the way to my heart. You should call the vinyl pieces like Baba Booey. I was listening to Howard today, actually. What were they talking about today? I know Marianne from Brooklyn and Bobo are having a big, huge fight with each other. It's insane. And it's so entertaining. And Marianne, like, lost it. And for the first time, she literally fired back at Howard. And Howard, like, he didn't get pissed, but he was just in shock. You know, and then she called back like the next day to apologize. But that's part of the reason I love Howard's because of the whack back and all the drama that goes on, and it's so freaking funny. The only thing I don't like about Howard is when he does the impersonation of his parents. Some people love that. It annoys me when he impersonates his parents. Michael Sweet's wife, yes, Michael Sweet's wife, I think she was a set designer. Let me see, let me go back up. Who said that? Hope that everything is good. Kyle, what's up, man? Yeah. Crown the Empire. Yeah, I'm glad I watch your videos because I'm going to a horror movie trivia thing tomorrow. You are full of the knowledge. You know what, man? You think that, but I swear you guys drop horror facts on me constantly that I have no clue about. And it gets intimidating sometimes. It really does. All right. Now we're going to start this movie, okay? Did you get the Jason Lives vinyl? No, I did not get the Jason Lives vinyl. I didn't even know there was a Jason Lives vinyl coming out. Jason. Okay. Anyway, we got 40 people in here right now. I know you guys you're itching. You're ready to watch this movie. So let me start up the Blu-ray. Night of the Creeps. Freaking love Night of the Creeps. Dennis Shaw says the good news, you're live streaming a classic. The bad news, it's got to end in a couple hours. Drumdums is the best YouTube channel. I wouldn't say that, but thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Tom Jugarian, hey Lee, what's up, man? Yeah. Anyway, you know what? I bought this ring light here because last time you couldn't see my face. Oh, let me turn this down. Hold on. So let me kick up the ring light just a little bit. I apologize in advance. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. Do one more because if it gets too bright, then it gets annoying. Okay, I have the menu pulled up right now. Let me know if any of you guys are watching this with me. If you're going to start the same time I start. I get excited when you guys tell me you're watching this alongside me. So just give me a couple in the chat that say, yeah, I'm watching live with you. You can even lie if you want to. Go ahead. I'm going to open up my my monster. Yeah, Michael Sweet's wife was the costume designer on the movie. You will see Stryper logo on the bathroom. Yes, I know. I actually was a big Stryper fan. I guess I still am a big Striper fan, but they're not that active anymore. But I was a really big Striper fan back in the 80s. To Hell with the Devil, Soldiers Under Command, all those albums. And it's not because I call myself a religious person or anything. I just dug their music. I did. If you get me with the music, you got me. Okay. Yep, Snake Plissken. Oh, this is one of my favorite t-shirts, actually. Okay. All right, so I got, Jill's watching, Ebert's watching. Okay, I got 2. That's all I need. Okay, you guys ready? We're going to count it down. I always go from 10. I don't go from 3 because I don't want you guys to panic, okay? So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play movie. There we go. I got Levi in here with me too. Come here, buddy. Come here. Yep, there's Levi. Okay, so I'm gonna read my phone because I can't see up there, but I can see right here. Okay. Love Yellow and Black Attack. Yes, Dave. That's a good one. My first Striper album was, I believe, Soldiers Under Command. And then I went back and got Yellow and Black Attack. To Hell with the Devil is definitely my favorite Striper album, though. I used to have a Striper poster on my wall. Okay. Daniel Chavez, I'm here, Lee. What's up? What's up, Daniel? How you doing, man? Yeah, Levi's my buddy. Levi's my buddy. Now, somebody asked earlier if we're doing the theatrical cut or the director's cut. And to be honest, I don't know. I think, we're doing the director's cut because this version of the movie only has the director's cut. I prefer the theatrical cut, even though I haven't seen that version in so many years because this is the only Blu-ray I've had of this movie. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Shout Factory have a release of this movie now? And if they do, does it contain both versions? Let me know in the chat. Let me turn that down a little bit. Jill Whitlow. I have another movie of Twice Dead is what it's called. I haven't seen it yet. And that's another one that has Jill Whitlow in it. And do you guys want to see what a remote looks like for a 1983 Color Track 2000? Because that's what you're going to see. Get ready to be jealous, okay? This is a remote for a 1983 Color Track 2000. It feels like it weighs about 50 pounds. And it actually has this cover that comes off. And then you get more buttons. And we got a delay here, so I'm hoping that this is coming into focus in the camera. Yeah, there it goes. Right. Yeah, okay, yeah. It looks like it's right in the camera. But please tell me you're jealous because I don't know why I want you to be jealous, but yeah, we got these little alien dudes, and I had never seen this version before. I grew up on this movie. I remember. Let me turn my chair so I can see it a little bit, and let me turn the volume down. I remember seeing this movie on HBO. You guys remember, like some of you might be able to remember in the 80s, HBO was a big thing. I mean, HBO is still a big thing, but back then, you had that like opening crawl, especially for prime time. All that good stuff. Well, one of the movies I used to constantly watch was Night of the Creeps. And I remember the first time I saw it, it was the black and white scene where you got the guy walking up and he has the axe. The zombie comes up with the axe and he just, and it cuts as the axe is going down right on the neck. And right away, that scene hooked me into this movie. And I was like, oh my, I have to watch this. So I sat down and I watched the whole movie. And I think I was probably like 14, 15 at the time. And we're about to see that scene now. Sorority Row 1959. Another thing I like about this movie, and I didn't realize it back then, was that this is kind of a sorority horror movie. It's not a sorority slasher, obviously. It's not a slasher, but you know, it has like a slasher feel to it, if you know what I mean, because it's on a sorority, because you have all these young college students that are basically dying one by one. So you have some slasher elements, but it's not a slasher. It's more of like a pod type movie, or just a straight up zombie movie. Even though these technically aren't zombies, I guess. Are they zombies? I could be wrong. I've been wrong from time to time. Quite a bit, actually. Okay, Jason says, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at this. Hold on, let me scroll up. There, okay. Jason says, Haley, I know I requested a Visiting Hours review, but I would love to see a review on the 1986 Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. You're after my heart, Jason. It's the movie that got me into the blues and playing guitar. Dude! Hey, Holly, how are you doing? Nice to see you in here. Oh my God. I can't believe somebody else knows about Crossroads, the Ralph Macchio Crossroads. Although I'm sure Beth knows about this movie too, but that was one of my favorite movies in the 80s. Just because of that damn guitar, I guess playoff, or what would you call that? Like a guitar off at the end of the movie. And up to that point in my life, that had been the most awesome thing I had ever seen. Like, I was floored by just the back and forth between Steve Vai, and I hear it was Steve Vai. Like, Steve Vai plays both parts. But Ralph Macchio can play guitar. The guy can play guitar. But I don't think he could hold his own against Steve Vai. But also just the whole movie. I grew up in Mississippi. If some of you don't know that, I grew up in Mississippi. I lived there for 18 years until I left home, joined the military. Rest is history. But I think I really connected with that movie too, because there's a lot of talk of Mississippi and the blues, and they go to Mississippi in the movie. And yeah, I don't want to talk too long about Crossroads, but man, you really brought back some memories there, Jason. That's a great movie, and I think it's highly underrated. Jamie Gertz is in it, and of course the old guy that lives in the nursing home, Blind Millen. What was his name? Blind Dog Fulton. Yeah. He goes and he rescues Blind Dog Fulton so he can learn the lost song, the lost blues song of Robert Johnson. It's all coming back to me. Okay. My voice cracked. Ry Cooder did the soundtrack. I did not know that. It's got a great soundtrack too. I mean, there's so much great blues. Okay, now I'm sorry I veered off. See, I blame Jason Nike though. Okay, we just had this meteor go over. The meteor, obviously, from space. And this is where this whole thing begins. And so, I remember when I first watched this, I thought, is this going to be Durant Cinema? What's up, brother? Now, that's a brother that goes way back with me. Me and Durant started this whole journey together around the same time, maybe even close to the same month. And mad respect for Dave. Dave is one of the nicest, coolest guys I have ever had the pleasure of having a conversation with. We'll give you the shirt off his back. So, Durant, it's an honor, brother. Friends for life. Pumpkin says, dang, you guys watch a lot of movies. This is YouTube. This is why I jumped into YouTube, to find people like you that watch a lot of movies, because I couldn't find people to talk to about movies like Crossroads. Luckily, people like Jason Nike exist. Okay, they're in the woods. We're still in black and white. Like I said, when I first saw this, I thought that this whole movie would be black and white. I didn't know anything about this movie. Back then, you never saw trailers. So a lot of times when I would catch movies on HBO, I went in sight unseen. I knew nothing about the movies I was watching. I didn't know where they were going to go. And I kind of missed that because it was just a cool time, you know? But yeah, like this scene right here, you have no idea where this thing's gonna go. You know that this meteor just flew over. They're on Route 66, and then her boyfriend, I think, yeah, it's her boyfriend, comes up with the axe, and he got infected by the slug. No, he hasn't been infected yet. Yeah, Crossroads is cool. Yeah, Jill, I love the black and white opening too. A lot of times I will actually throw, like, I guess, watch a movie in black and white that's not supposed to be black and white. Like, I've been meaning to make a black and white version of Halloween. I think Halloween would be a cool movie to watch in black and white because it's good versus evil, black and white. Michael Myers' mask is a white mask. So I'm surprised nobody ever talks about that either, like watching Halloween in black and white. I've never heard anybody talk about it, but I mean, wouldn't you guys think that'd be kind of cool to watch Halloween in black and white? Maybe with a double feature with Psycho? Mikey son, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Like this shot here. Got that low angle following the axe and the dude walking. I think low angles are synonymous with horror. If you're looking to build some kind of tension, low angles and slow motion. Bryce Russo, what's up, man? Haley, hope all is well. Always enjoy tuning into your channel. Keep up the great work on YouTube. Thanks, Bryce. I appreciate that, man. I saw your message too on Facebook. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Exorcist in black and white. I could totally get down with that. Okay, time in movie. Dave, I'm going to hook you up. Hold on just a sec. Let me hit my display. We just left the black and white scene. We're now at the sorority. We're at 10 minutes, 41 seconds. Just another reason why I love this movie, because I really enjoy these main two characters here. This duo. I always call him Discount Ralph Macchio because he looks a lot like Ralph Macchio. But if you look at like the bonus features on this Blu-ray too, like these two guys, I think that was the first time they met up with each other again since like doing the movie, which was kind of cool. But I think Night of the Creeps is a great like intro to horror movie as well. You know, people always bring up like what would be a good movie to show a friend of mine that's not necessarily into horror. You don't want to freak them out too bad. Night of the Creeps is the perfect movie. It's not really that scary. I mean, I guess you can find some horror in it, but it's more fun than anything, you know? Anthony Scarpula, The Exorcist in Black. Oh, yeah, I already read that. That's right. Tom Ungarin says, people hate, but I like zombies, Halloween, and the opening act with Octavia Spencer in the sequel was probably still to this day one of the most brutal kills ever. I will agree with you on that. That is a brutal ass kill. Poor Octavia Spencer. I mean, what an intro. I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. You all know that. But the first one, not the biggest fan. Those two movies are very different too, you know? I think to start the first movie out with, you know, Ronnie just screaming his face off and, you know, bitch, I can't work. You know, all that stuff. Bitch, I can't work and Halloween, do those two things go together to you? Because they don't go together to me at all. Okay? I'm all broken up here, bitch. I can't take that seriously. Holly Klein says definitely a great intro to a horror movie. Yeah, this disc is loaded with special features. A lot of good stuff. That's why I didn't even bother to look for another version of this movie. If I could have changed one thing about this release, it would have been to include the theatrical cut. But I mean, the difference between the theatrical and the director's cut is pretty much, you know, the beginning and the ending. So you're still getting pretty much the meat and potatoes of the movie. Oh my God, Beth, you are so right. That would be a great top 10 to do. Intro to horror movies. I'm definitely going to jot that down with your name beside it. That's a great idea, actually, because I'm always looking for new top 10s. So, intro to horror movies. I'm actually, if I can squeeze it in, I swear, my recording schedule has been so packed lately. I want to do top 10 things the Friday franchise gets right, because I did what the big three get wrong and Scream, but the only one I've done that gets right top 10 for is Halloween. So yeah, you got the jocks, you got the your main characters, the good people, the nerds. They're pretty much us, right? That's who we are. Because most horror fans, we're not really the jocks. The Scream intro is probably, that would probably be number one, if I'm being honest. I think the Scream intro is what every horror director should strive for. Because it really knocks your freaking socks off. It really does. I got to put on my subtitles here so I can see what they're saying. Here we go. Oh, yeah, okay, so I can relate to this. Being in high school, having your eyes on a girl, and you might think she's out of your league or something like that, or what, or one of my female watchers seeing a guy, and you get cold feet, you get scared. I guess women don't really have to worry about this as much. So it's the guys that have to get up the guts to go and ask the girl out. So, and what's cool is I think I was a little younger than the cast, most of the students in this movie. So to me, it was highly relatable. Liam Evans, what's up, man? Nice to see you in here. But these two characters, they're so great because you want them to succeed. You want them to get the girl, You're with them throughout the whole adventure. And, for a movie that, let's face it, this is the only movie I've ever seen these two actors in. They really hold their own. They do a great job. Troy, what's up, man? Nice to see you in here. Awesome Cool Guy says, when I first saw Scream, my jaw dropped. Scream on the big screen, in the movies on a small screen. Oh my, I think I just read two comments together. I read Awesome Cool Guy, and then I just bounced right into Dave Vanderhoff's. Okay, let me try this again. When I first saw Scream, my jaw dropped. Scream, Halloween, and Jaws have the best opening easily. Yeah, I was thinking Halloween too. And, oh my God, Jaws. Jaws could be a good contender for Scream. Like that is a scary opening scene. And then Dave says, I hooked up my 42-inch TV and put it next to my 65-inch TV, and you're on the big screen in the movies on the small. That's awesome. Snap a pic of that and send it to me. I want to see that. That's badass. I wish I had Night of the Creeps on VHS so I could put it on VHS on Jolene and then be watching it on my 32-inch Sony 32-inch Sony over here. Jill says she was 13 when she saw Scream for the first time and it terrified me. Yeah, I could see that. I saw Scream in the theater. In 96, I would have been 23. I was 23 when I saw Scream in the theater. I remember it was Christmas time too. I think it was Christmas Day, and I don't know if I saw it that day, but I did see it that weekend. Freaking blew my socks off. It really, I was like, wow, this movie's amazing. Charles Lee Ray says, have you ever watched Joyride with Paul Walker? Oh yeah, absolutely. Joyride is great. Candy Cane. Come in, Candy Cane. What's the guy's name who plays Candy Cane? Buffalo Bill. The remake of Hills Have Eyes. Oh, I think this dude, the light blonde hair dude who looks like um the dick Johnny in Karate Kid. This guy's even more of a dick than Johnny, I think. And I think it's genius that they centered Cobra Kai around Johnny and made him like likable. That's pretty awesome. Some need. What's up, man? Rob Zombie knows nothing of subtlety. Yeah, you're right about that. I was 9. My mom left the theater before the opening act was even over for Scream. Tom, that's hilarious. It's pretty damn frightening, especially when she turns on the light on the patio and she sees her boyfriend sitting there strapped to the chair and his intestines like pouring out. This guy right here, the guy with the lab coat on the phone, I always remember him from Payback, the movie with Mel Gibson, because he was the biggest slime ball I've ever seen on film in that movie. And I love when Mel Gibson like gets back at him. If you guys haven't seen Payback, you should definitely check it out. Payback's awesome. The tagline for it was "Get ready to root for the bad guy." Kyle Riles says you should do a live commentary to Dazed and Confused. That could be a lot of fun, actually. Dazed and Confused was a movie that I constantly watched in the 90s. I think Dazed and Confused was so successful because of how relatable it is. And it's timeless. This movie takes place in the 70s, but anybody who's graduated high school, that last day of high school, we all know that feeling of just being completely elated. And I don't know, it's almost impossible to have a bad day on the last day of high school unless you fail or something like that. But that's why Dazed and Confused is so great, because it just freaking checks all those boxes of what you go through in senior year. It doesn't matter that it's the 70s. Okay, so the reason why we've jumped forward to the 80s now, we're seeing this now, is because they're in this lab and they see the guy frozen. And so he's about to get released, and then he's going to release all the slugs. The sequels to Joyride sucked. Yes. I can't say yes. I haven't seen the sequels to Joyride. I've only seen the first one. Levi. Are any of you guys worried about the coronavirus? I guess just to timestamp this. Like my place of employment now, they're having people go in and they want to take your temperature when you clock in at work. So now every time I go into work, they got to take my temperature. That's how serious this freaking coronavirus stuff is getting. It's crazy. Jonathan Nichols says, first horror movie I remember watching when I was young was The Gate. Oh man, that's another great one. The movie messed me up. Yeah. I remember watching, that's another one of those HBO goodies, nasties that I watched back in the day, The Gate. And it's another one of those movies like this where I went into it knowing nothing about it whatsoever and just completely loving the hell out of it by the end of the movie. And it's still to this day a very unique movie about these kids who find kind of a gateway to hell. I haven't watched it in so many years too. Holly says, I work in a hospital. Yeah, and I work in a assisted living facility. So, yeah, it's very scary. Beth says, Lee, I was in Sam's today, and they got in a shipment of paper goods, and all the toilet paper and paper towels were gone in less than 15 minutes. Yeah, that's the big thing, too. It's like all the toilet paper is getting bought out. So it's going to suck if we all run out of toilet paper, people. And I don't think I need to elaborate. But yeah, it's like everybody's buying up all the toilet paper because of fear. That's why they're doing it, of fear, because they're scared if I don't buy it all up right now, then it's going to be gone when I come back. So people go and they buy 5 packs of it. So the boys, they're running out. I think they just released the dude. I think they just unfroze the dude, and so now the slug is going to go into the scientist or whatever you call him. For some reason, when I do these commentaries, my mind goes completely fucking blank, and every name that I've stored into my brain, every actor, every bit of useless information that I've had in this brain forever, as soon as I get in front of this thing right here, just falls right out. It's gone. I can't remember a name to save my life. They could put Tom Cruise in front of the screen and I wouldn't know that it was Tom Cruise, even though I just said it was Tom Cruise. The world survived without toilet paper for millions of years. Martin Renner. Martin, what's up, man? How are you doing, brother? Martin is directing a film, guys. That film is called Buzzcut. That film stars Donna Wilkes. I remember that name. And here's the name I definitely remember. Linnea Quigley. So, Martin, if you want, post your that Indiegogo campaign in the chat there so that the guys can go and support that. But another really awesome thing that's coming is Linnea Quigley. She's going to do a Q&A for Killer Flicks. Today in Killer Flicks, I told everybody post a question. And Linnea Quigley, she's going to pick a few of those questions and she's going to do a video and she's going to answer them. And I'm going to put that video as part of my next, it'll probably be like my next unbox. That's where I usually do all these updates. And so I'm going to do like a promo unbox. It's going to have her Q&A and everything. Maybe one day I can even talk Linnea Quigley into doing an interview with me. That'd be freaking awesome. Like I did with Deborah Voorhees, who's an absolute sweetheart. But from what I've seen so far, Linnea Quigley is an absolute sweetheart. But I already knew that too anyway. She seems like the sweetest person on the planet. So now, our two main characters, they're having a fight. Now, the one character, I like that they made him a cripple. You know? Because not too often do we see characters like that, handicapped characters in horror movies. We remember Friday the 13th Part 2, you had the guy in the wheelchair and he got killed. Which, that's a crazy kill too, by the way. Linnea's off to Canada tomorrow and we'll make the video tomorrow too. Awesome. That's awesome. Tyler Trigg, what's up, man? Thank you very much. Lee, watch Girl House. I think you will love it. Yeah, I keep hearing Girl House is great, actually. That's definitely one that's on my list. Tom Unger and Lee, you should get Slash and Cast on one of your vids or something to team up. That would be cool, too. That would actually be really cool. Oh, here we go, guys. The great Tom Atkins. I didn't realize that Tom Atkins doesn't enter frame until... What are we in, like 20 something minutes now? Yeah, we're almost 30 minutes into the movie, guys. And I didn't realize Tom Atkins doesn't even show up until 30 minutes in. But he's having a dream. I think he's getting close to retirement or something in the movie. And so he's just dreaming about retirement. And he sees this blonde on the beach. And then we go back to the past. He was actually the cop on the scene when... the girl was getting hacked up in the 50s. And they didn't get a younger actor to play Tom Atkins for this scene. They just went ahead and made Tom Atkins play himself 30 years earlier. But that's okay because it's Tom Atkins. And we're fine with that. Timestamp for Vanderhoff. Absolutely. Absolutely. We are at 27 minutes, 30 seconds. Tom Atkins is sitting on his couch right now. Thrill me. He just said it into the phone. Man, this movie really ramps up. Like, as soon as those slugs go into that dude's mouth, then it really starts ramping up. Now, can you guys think of any other, like, really fun, I guess, lighthearted zombie movies? Because it seems like most of the time zombie movies are really deep and dark and sinister. And I think I'm starting to figure myself out. And I'm thinking that I prefer the ones that are a little bit lighter in tone. Although I do love 28 Weeks Later and 28 Days Later. So, thrill me. Yes, Jill, thrill me. Let's see. Oh, is Dino's in here. See, that's why I'm glad I got my phone here, because I can't see my vision. Evening Lee, hello in the chat. Great movie. Dino, what's up, man? Always a pleasure to see Dino on here. Dino, are you one of the few that don't like Night of the Creeps? I've never met a person that didn't like Night of the Creeps. And I bet Dino has some pretty interesting opinions about this movie, because Dino's probably seen at least 300% more horror movies than I have. Like, when I see Dino's layout, I get really freaking jealous. And I get intimidated. Like Night of the Comet, James Mangold. He says, Night of the Comet. I haven't seen Night of the Comet. I've heard that one's really good. 80s cheese zombies. I think I really prefer 80s cheese zombie movies. Now, Tom Atkins has stated, too, that this is probably, I guess, the funnest. Now I'm paraphrasing, but I know he really enjoyed this experience more than most of his experience. Dino loves this movie. I'm not surprised at all. Like I said, I've yet to this day to find anybody that doesn't like Night of the Creeps. It's crazy. Now, a movie that you can split your audience in half is Color Out of Space. Because I watched Color Out of Space and I loved it. And my wife hated it. And then who else was there? Was somebody else that I talked to recently. They watched it too, and they didn't really like it that well. One of my buddies messaged me, one of my military buddies, and he saw it and he said that was fucking crazy. And I was like, that's pretty much the right response. So I, as a horror fan, would highly recommend Color Out of Night. Or Color Out of Space. Sorry, Color Out of Night. This guy is such a dick. He's dropping. Is this the movie where he goes, bogus, man? I bet he got bobbed. I think that's this movie. The Bradster, yeah. Of course his name is Brad. Of course it is. Savage Streets. That's a fun-ass movie. It's not a zombie movie. But it's a fun-ass movie. It's not even really a horror movie, if I'm being honest. Somebody asked me about Hollow Stream. I think it was Jonathan. Yeah, Jonathan Nichols. I actually messaged my partners in crime for Hollow Stream today about doing it maybe the end of this month or the beginning of April. That's what I'm shooting for. So we shall see. As a matter of fact, let me check my messages right now. I'll tell you right now if I got any kind of response so far. I don't know. So I got 2 of them have responded. I haven't because these are busy people. Okay. So I got 2 responses. There's 5 of us total. Actually 6 of us total, but 2 of them are we watched the movie. They're a package deal. So I'm still waiting on a couple responses. But we're shooting for the end of this month, beginning of April. Okay. Epic Zombie Killer. Have I seen Christine? Absolutely. Christine is a Carpenter classic. Jill says, I thank you, Lee and Gabby, for turning me on to Savage Streets. I loved that one so much. You know, I can't take a lot of the credit because I just saw it for the first time when I reviewed it last year. That was the first time I ever saw it. I'm trying to remember where I even heard about the movie from. Somebody told me about it, but I think it was... Oh, God, I can't remember. I don't want to say the wrong name, but I heard it from one of my friends who like really buys a lot of deep cuts. And I bought this one from Ronin Flicks. Stephen Arthur. That's who I heard it from. Stephen Arthur. He's a really big hookup for me because he told me about a lot of these really deep cuts, and one of them was Savage Streets. And so I went on to Ronin Flicks. Lucky enough, I was able to get one of those releases because it's like a lot of times with Ronin Flicks, they get titles and then they're gone just like that. So you got to be like on the money. And so I found Savage Streets. The release of it is so freaking glorious. And I absolutely fell in love with this movie the first time I watched it. Don't you love when you do that, when you watch a movie and you don't even really have to like warm up to it? It's just there. You know? That's what Savage Streets was. It was everything that I love about the 80s and then some. And it wasn't even really a horror movie. So, Jill Whitlow, she's getting changed right now. We have our gratuitous nudity. You have to have that in an 80s movie. It was part of the recipe. You don't really see nudity in like 80s horror movies, or not 80s, I'm sorry. You don't really see nudity in like horror movies these days, unless it's like a major part of the plot or something like that, or if it's a Rob Zombie, of course, you're going to get nudity, but you don't really see it as often as you did in the 80s. John, what's up, man? The Shape, howdy peeps, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you in here. I'm going to have to grab my phone again. My freaking vision. I think Jill Whitlow's a really good final girl, too. And she reminds me of somebody, but I can't put my finger on it. I think she reminds me of Jamie Gertz a little bit. Yeah, so she just opened the window, and the dude that was released, he just looked into the window, and then you see... I like the pods in this movie. I think that was a part of the fun of this one, because, you know, the characters, they're like running from these pods. And I don't know, there's just something about that that's just so cool. I haven't seen Slither yet, and I heard Slither's like a, you know, it's the movie itself is like an homage to this movie. To James Gunn, I think he directed that one too. Beth says we need equal opportunity nudity. Come on, folks, you're right. It seems like we're like 95-5 for that. They need to even the playing field a little bit. I just saw the trailer today for My Nightmare on Elm Street. The my memory just freaking kills me. Jesse from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. I've said the guy's name 9,000 times in my life. When I'm on here with you guys, just gone. Just freaking gone. It'll come to me in a second. Don't even tell. Mark Patton. Jesus, it just came to me. Okay. I just saw the trailer for that documentary, which looks really interesting. Why did I bring that up? Because Beth was talking about male nudity. And you don't see enough male nudity in 80s horror movies. Really, horror movies in general. So, and the women deserve that, right? I have not seen Slither yet. Good times. I do apologize. Yeah, I need to see that doc. Devon, where can I find that doc? Let me know. Yeah, Scream Queen. I think that's what I think it's Beth. I think it's just called Scream Queen. Awesome cool guy. What do you think the trailer for Halloween Kills will be released? I'm thinking probably June. I mean, that's if I had to put money on it, I would say June. I think they're not going to mess up a good thing. I think they're going to go with their playbook from Halloween 2018 because that movie was such a hit. Why mess it up? So I'm thinking they're probably going to release it in June. That's if we see it any earlier than that, we're lucky. Even though they got done with this movie a lot quicker than they did, or a lot earlier, shall I say, than Halloween 2018. I've been seeing a lot of videos popping up lately about Danielle Harris returning, and I don't watch other people's Halloween update videos unless I've already put one out, because I don't want to steal other ideas. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I don't really watch them that much, but I'm wondering, wouldn't it be crazy if she does end up showing up and she was able to keep that under wraps this whole time? Because I still think it's speculation. Simon Moon, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you in here. Oh, here's the dick again. This guy. The most punchable face in all of 80s horror. Who is the most punchable face in all of 2010's horror? I think you know the answer to that. I think you know. Trent. See you later, Liam. Have a great night, man. Have a great night. You can buy a copy on Amazon. I have it in my cart right now. Cool. Okay. So I might have to get that on Amazon, because I've been wanting to watch that documentary. It looks really interesting. What grabbed me about the trailer was Mark Patton pretty much saying the movie ruined his career, completely ruined his career. Couldn't get a job after it for nothing. I'm a sucker for all that behind the scenes type stuff too. So can you believe this guy? This guy literally, he kicked the crutch of a disabled person. Like, are you serious? Who gets away with that? Yeah, she's doing that. Not to be confused with the trumpet in God damn it, the Jim Carrey movie, Bruce Almighty. Jesus, he does the trumpet. There's so many different ways to express the middle finger to people, and it's a fun thing to do, you know? It's a fun thing to just create a new way of saying fuck you to somebody. You were talking about Bubba from Mama's Family. Good times. Bubba from Mama's Family. I've seen this Asian guy in something before. Okay, so they're meeting Cameron, the great Tom Atkins, for the first time. Guy gets one of the greatest one-liners in horror history in this movie. And he delivers it like a champ, like a pro, you know? It's one thing to get the greatest line in horror history, but it's another thing to deliver that line. Tom fucking Atkins does it. 80s middle finger. There's nothing that beats 80s middle finger. Very true, Martin. Very true. Martin, you're based out of New Zealand, right? What's the weather like over there right now? Let's see. Read between the lines. That's a great one. Simon Moon says, not too well, Lee. Bad times for the hometown because of the virus here in Europe. Yeah, man, I heard about that. But it's awesome to join you for this movie now. Yeah, I've heard like the streets are like desolate over in Europe in some parts. Holy shit. Nathan Bolander. Nathan was my lead singer in 2 of the bands that I've been in. This is crazy. Dude, it's so cool to see you in here, man. I swear, I think about you guys at least weekly. And I will cherish the memories I had with my band forever. Forever. If you guys want to hear Nathan sing, just type in Velocity of a Story, Drumdums. Because I did a video of our song it's an original song that we all created. And I'll never forget that memory of us in Japan. In Korea. Me and you and Garrett and all the rest of the guys. And you know, we spent the day just creating this song, and it was just such a cool experience, and you know, just having fun, being dumbasses, and just, you know, being young and stupid. And man, those were great memories, really great memories. So cool to see you in here, brother. Miss you like hell too, brother. Yeah, we were in Japan together too, so we had 2 bands. Get this, I ran into Nathan. 2003, I met Nathan in Korea. And then 2008, I think, so 5 years later, we run into each other again in Japan. And what do? We get another band going. So we had a band called Silence, and then we had a band called No Audible Mercy. But man, great memories. Holy crap, really great memories. Holly says, what are your plans for this Friday the 13th? I'd like to get that video out. I want to get that video out. Top 10 things the Friday franchise does right. And if you guys want to play along in the chat, give me some things that you think the Friday the 13th franchise does right. I'm curious to see what you guys think. I mean, Jason's one of the great things about the franchise. I think Pamela Voorhees is a great thing about the franchise, actually. To start the franchise with the killer not being Jason, but it being a whodunit. I think that's awesome. Kills. Some of the greatest kills. I'm pretty much giving you guys the list right now. Final Girls. I think Friday probably has the best Final Girls out of all the franchises. So we're at the sorority scene right now. We got all the girls. Jill Whitlow, she just got on the phone and she's talking to the douchebag, and he's got this picture of sweaty bottoms right behind him. You fucking asshole. Right after I said you fucking asshole, he said, "Hey, lighten up." It's like he was talking to me. The score, yeah, Tom Manfredini's score is awesome. Final Girls, boobs, mask, kills, music. I could make that video like 10 seconds long. I need to scroll up because I didn't see Martin's answer for New Zealand. Damn it. The music is great in the Friday the 13th movies. Mikey's son. Simon Moon says, have you ever done a record, Lee? You talking about for like recording? No, I haven't done a record. We recorded one song, or actually we recorded two songs, but we lost one of the songs. My guitarist, Garrett, who is an amazing guitarist, by the way, he's the guy that had the equipment. And we recorded this song, Velocity of a Story, and we had this other song, and it was called So Cut Your Hair Off. And the song was about how women, when they're scorned, they have a tendency to cut their hair. And so Garrett wrote this song about, and it was a really great song. It was kind of like ballady sounding. And we spent an entire day recording these two songs, and then Garrett had it all together on the 8-track, and he hit a button, and he accidentally deleted that song. So I think I have like a really rough version of it, but the Velocity of a Story is like a finished product. Like I said, you can find that Velocity of a Story. You can find that right on YouTube. And check it out. Let me know what you guys think of it. It's like a 4-minute song. And it's very like, it's 90s rock inspired. It's got a little bit of a Tool vibe to it too, because you guys know I'm a Tool fanatic. But I'd like to hear you guys' opinion on that. You know, it's not something I really market on my channel at all. I don't even really do that much music content on my channel that much anymore, partly because of the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. You don't want to stray too far from what you're doing. So, but I mean, music is just such an important part of my life. It really is. I've been planning a music stream that I'm going to be doing within the next few weeks. I'm planning on it. Just talking about my life and music, playing music, listening to music, bands I love, artists I love, all that stuff. I'm going to pull up my phone. Let's see, hold on. Eric Kawa says, I have a horror slasher movie flick idea. Interested. Let's hear it, man. Let's hear it. Favorite show we did was the Loring Club in Korea. I still have the DVD, brother. In Korea. That was awesome. That's a good sounding show too, actually. I wish that I actually had my actual Pearl kit in Korea, because the kit that I was using in Korea was it was a really cheap kit, to put it lightly. And I was amazed that we got the sound out of it that we did. Martin Renner says, it's so weird that Fridays 2, 3, and 4 happened over 3 days. Yeah, I know. That's very strange, actually. It's like the movies don't happen on Friday the 13th. It's just like the next day, then the next day, then the next day. And then I think part 5 does happen on Friday the 13th. Yeah, Simon, check it out, man. Let me know what you think of it. I love this scene. Like he's got Jill Whitlow right next to him, and everybody can relate to this. You got your buddy with you, and you want the girl to like you so bad, and so he's fine. You know, he's getting her to like just stand next to him, and he can't even like concentrate. And he's like, yes, you know, telling his buddies. He's like a what do you call it? Happier than a schoolboy? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. Jason Nike says, I write blues and blues rock songs. I love metal, but blues is my passion beside horror movies. Yeah, man, I like blues too. I'm mostly metal. That's my big thing. I love metal, but tapering down from that, I like I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. I'm a huge Prince fan. Those two artists mean a lot to me, actually. But I mean, there's so many metal bands that I love. You know, like Deftones. When I was in Korea, I was turned on to so much, like it's like punk. It's like kind of like new age punk or something like that. But you know, at the drive-in. I'm trying to think of all the bands that we played over there. It was so many different. I guess they're pretty much punk bands though. At the drive-in later formed into Mars Volta. Two of the members of that band went to Mars Volta. So, but that type of music, I love that stuff. Kane Hodder's body language. Yeah. Some people like hate Kane Hodder's, like his breathing and all that stuff. You know, it's. Oh, here we go. We're in the stall, and I see the striper next to the toilet paper. If this took place today, there would be no toilet paper. Purple Rain, to me, is the greatest song ever written. That's my opinion. And Michael Jackson is the greatest artist of all time. The guy, it's hard for me to pick which I like better, Michael or Prince. Because they're both so great, but they're both so different too, which is nice. You know, they don't sound anything alike. Just watched Purple Rain this weekend. The music is great. Acting, not so much. Yeah. Ooh. So he just opened the door. The Asian guy's laying on the floor, and his head was completely open, and the slug just like crawled out. This is the movie that you want to have the sound on for sure. It's a very sound-driven movie, if you know what I mean. Jill, you've never seen Purple Rain. You've never purified yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. That's insane. You gotta see Purple Rain. Bad acting and all, you gotta see Purple Rain. It's a fun movie to watch. I think Beth will agree with me on that. It is definitely a fun movie to watch. So what are you guys eating tonight? Is anybody eating anything? Is anybody snacking? I'm thinking about going to get me like a granola bar or something. I don't know. I had Chili's tonight, and I had way too much Chili's because when I was coming home, I was just like, oh my God, I was just so freaking full. And now I'm like hungry again. That's how I work. I'm like hungry every hour. So the slug just went up his leg. I need to go on IMDb and look up these guys' names. It's just too crazy. Hold on. IMDb. And most of this movie takes place at the sorority house. I told you this would be unprofessional. So don't say I didn't warn you. Chili with sour cream. Chili sounds really good right now, actually. Cheese and Fritos. I like Frito chili pie. That's really good. I think they have that at Sonic. Let me see. Hold on. Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies. My favorite is the what do they call them? Samoas. I think the coconut with the chocolate. That's my favorite. Do you think Michael Jackson biopic like Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man would be good? I mean, I would definitely watch it, but I think it would be really, really hard to make a good Michael Jackson biopic just because of how big of a star. You know, he's one of those, like, you can make 3 movies out of his life, you know, because his career just spans for such a large period, you know. So New Zealand does not have sororities. That's very interesting. Jason Mango says donut chicken sandwich. You won't see me eating one of those again. Fuck that. I'm glad I tried it, though. At least I can say I tried a donut chicken sandwich. And Aaron says he loves lamp. Um, Didn't he say I love something else too? He says I love lamp. Does he say I love desk? Let's see. Let me go back up here. There will never be another artist like Michael Jackson or Prince ever. Both musical geniuses, legends. I can totally agree with that. As silly as this movie is, I love that Tom Atkins, he just plays it so straight, you know? Nathan, brother, you didn't have to do that, man. Love you, man. Hope we can chat sometime. Still grooving to Dream Theater. Tell your family we all say hi. Dude, I'm serious, dude. I think about you guys on a daily basis. I'll never forget the times I had with No Audible Mercy and Silence. And Bottlenap. Nathan wasn't in Bottlenap. He came after Bottlenap because he came to Korea after. So Bottlenap was pretty much No Audible Mercy, but we got Nathan and Jason on guitar. So Nathan is a hell of a singer too. That's Nathan singing on Velocity of a Story, guys. I'm telling you, the dude is a hell of a singer. And it's hard to find a good singer. You know, it seems like every time you're in a band, if you get an okay singer, you just run with it because it's like finding a unicorn. Nathan was a unicorn. I remember the first song I heard Nathan sing, it was The Red by Chevelle. Nathan had come, he was a really young kid at the time too. I think he was like 19. And we needed a singer. And so Nathan, he was like, I can sing. And so we were having practice and we started playing Chevelle The Red. And Nathan, as soon as he belted out, you know, so lay down. I'm not going to sing it, but as soon as he belted that out, the hairs on my freaking forearm just started standing up, and I was like, holy shit, we got ourselves a singer. Like a bona fide singer, and it was badass. And I'll never have that again. If you get a unicorn, if you get a singer that's a legitimate singer, if you ever get one twice, then you're really lucky, because it's hard to find somebody that can sing that great. Okay, y'all are making... Yeah, I'm hungry too, Beth. Getting really hungry. Got a peanut butter cheesecake waiting for me, Dustin Brandy Wheat. That sounds really good. Really good, actually. My wife loves cheesecake. I think that's probably her favorite dessert. She's a cheesecake connoisseur. One day I brought home... I went out to get her cheesecake, and I found this... it was a cheesecake, but it was like 8 different pieces of cheesecake, different types of cheesecake. So I brought that home, and it was like chocolate, strawberry, regular plain cheesecake, and you know, just every different version you could possibly imagine. So she was happy though. And my favorite dessert is probably chocolate chip cookies. So now we're at the scene where the axe is coming up below the floor, and this old lady, she's like, what the fuck is going on? Bam! That's a nice little kill shot. I love when directors actually show the kill shot. You know? It does annoy me when you get a lot of your kills off screen. It really does annoy me. So they just passed Phil's Diner. I really love diners, by the way. Like, I think you can get the best food at 2 o'clock in the morning at a diner. And it has to be 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, cheesecake is delicious. Beth says, my favorite song is Somebody to Love by Queen. They're my favorite band ever. I love Queen. My favorite song by Queen is The Show Must Go On. That song has so much meaning to me. And I think it's a good song to like place on one's own life. You know, if you're going through a tough time in your life, and we all do. We all have those, a bad year, a bad month, sometimes a bad life. The show must go on is just that voice in your head saying, keep pushing forward, you know, because it won't always be dark. So the light is there. You just gotta get to it. And that's what the show must go on means to me. And for the band itself, it's Freddie Mercury's swan song. He wrote that song like when he had AIDS. And that song came out, and I think I don't know if it came out after he died or it came out right before he died, but it's a really sad song to listen to. And if you guys want to hear a great, really great cover of that song, check out the band Solence, Solence. Go on YouTube right now if you want. Solence, The Show Must Go On. It will give you chill bumps. They're a newer band, but they do the song justice. You know, they don't try to change it too much. It still has that heart that the original has. Beth says, Lee, such a great song, and to think what he was facing at that point, and to be able to hit those vocals. Wow. The guy was like on his deathbed when he recorded the song. If you look at the video, you can see, he is... There isn't even a live version of the song available. They never performed the song live because the song was released like right when he died. Who Wants to Live Forever? Another excellent song, Mikey Son. The cops are firing at the this corpse now. Oh, you got what do they call that camera shot? Because I didn't go to freaking film school, but when the camera like zooms in as the dolly track is moving back, they do it in Halloween 4 too. I think Hitchcock created it, but there's a name for that. Martin Renner probably knows it too. Jill says, my favorite musician is Meatloaf, but my favorite song is Don't Fear the Reaper. I love Don't Fear the Reaper. That is definitely one of my favorite songs. Just obviously because of Halloween. That song takes me right back to Halloween every time I hear it. They even have like a version of it in Scream too. It's like a slowed down type of version of it. But the Don't Fear the Reaper is, to me, like top 10, one of the greatest songs ever written. Now we got this is a scene we constantly see in horror movies. A bunch of sorority girls standing, more nudity, standing in front of a mirror in the bathroom. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. I never got to go to a sorority, you know? I have a bachelor's degree. I went to college, but I did it in the military, and so I just took a class here, a class there, and eventually, like freaking 20 years later, I finally got my degree. I never went to a sorority. I never had that experience. And I always envy people that did get to go to a sorority and have fun, because I can imagine if you did live that life, it's got to be a great memory, I wish I would have been able to do that, but right out of high school, I went into the Air Force. I had sort of a similar experience in the Air Force because I was single for my first year in the Air Force, and that's where I met my wife. And we lived in the dorms. And I still remember when I met my wife, I was chasing a ferret because we lived in these dorms, and it was pretty much like college dorms. You know, we'd go to work during the day, and we'd live in the dorms. And I was chasing this ferret, and they'd have these parties at the end of the hallway. You know, and there'd be like probably 50 people, you know, drinking and just having a good time. And I was chasing this ferret, and I ran down the end of the hall, and I saw my wife just like standing there in the I guess you could call it the open area, the bay area or whatever. And I introduced myself to her. It was really cool. I was scared to death. I was 18 years old. Yeah, I think it was 18. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's a good song too. It's a funny song, actually. So he's listening to. I was looking up their freaking names too. He's listening to the tape, the playback, and I think that's his friend. Yeah, that's right. Because I think his friend dies. I've seen this movie 8,000 times, and I can't remember that his friend dies. That's what happens when you're in your 40s. Your memory goes. Yeah, that was his friend, because his friend says, "I love you." When a guy has a best friend, when a guy says "I love you" to his best friend, another guy, that's real. You know what I mean? Like, that's not an easy thing to do, even if your best friend's like my best friend growing up. I don't think we ever said, "Hey, I love you, man." You know? It's not an easy thing to say. Night. Okay, he's going down in the basement now. He's got the flashlight. Another staple of horror movies. You always got to have a dark basement and a flashlight. It's like the horror movie starter kit. A basement, a naked sorority girl, and a killer with a weapon. Pick your poison. You know, those are pretty much your horror movie starter pack. Or slasher movie starter pack. Typo Negative, October Rust. I'm a casual Typo Negative fan. Peter Steele was one of the most unique singers ever. The only singer that sounded similar to Peter Steele, I can't remember. They had that song, "Once There Was This Boy Who..." Somebody, I guarantee you one of you guys knows who I'm talking about. There it is, Night of the Creeps. Okay. So, JC. Oh yeah, I think the douchebag, he's about to get the slug from the dog. I always like the dog in this movie. Cause the dog reminds me of Levi. Yeah, so it's Chris and JC. Okay, I got it now. Oh, the bus scene. The bus scene's really good. The slugs get in the bus, and they pretty much turn all the jocks into zombies. So I think Tom Atkins, Cameron, I think he's in that midlife crisis mode. And he needs something to light a fire under, you know? And I think that's what JC and Chris do. And Tom Atkins, you know, I think he's one of those actors. I mean, yeah, he was a working actor when he was young, but he didn't really make it until his later years. And it's just funny that it's horror that was like his calling. And he became like this horror icon. I didn't even talk about Fred Dekker. Fred Dekker directed this. Who directed Monster Squad? He did this before Monster Squad. But I really like Fred Dekker. He's one of those directors that likes to create fun horror movies. And I don't think he's done a movie since... Has he done a movie since Monster Squad? I know he quit directing after a certain point. Crash Test Dummies, thank you very much. Crash Test Dummies. Once. I can't even make my voice that low. Once there was this boy who... Let's see. I really, 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 really value each and every one of you. Like, I really thank you guys for stopping by and just chilling with me watching this. Having a blast with you guys. Yeah, RoboCop 3, that's right. He did do RoboCop 3, which is horrible. RoboCop 3 is like easily the worst RoboCop movie. Oh, this guy just died. He was in Gremlins, Terminator. Great character actor. And he had a small part in this. He was able to get a flamethrower. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Got into an accident and couldn't come to school. Yeah, it's been a blast. If he directed RoboCop 3, that's why he isn't directing anymore. Very true, CJ. Dick Miller, that's it. Thank you, Earbird. Thank you, Kung Fu, man. You guys are awesome. That's right. Yeah, he did House too. I watched House for the first time last year, actually. It was okay. You know, a lot of people love House. I thought it was only okay. I didn't like fall in love with it or anything. But it's definitely a horror comedy, and it definitely has a Fred Dekker feel to it. So I can totally see him directing that. Oh, that's the rest of the song. Okay, Holly. Oh yeah, got into an accident and couldn't come to school. Daniel says he's asking Jill what her favorite movie soundtrack is. That's a good question. They're about to jump out of the bus now. It's about to get crazy. This movie's about to go into overdrive. Not to be confused with Maximum Overdrive, which I have on VHS, by the way. Now, I believe they got a lot of the crew members to actually be the zombies in this movie. And let me know in the chat your favorite soundtrack, okay? Simon Moon Lee singing Crash Test Dummies. Guess we have a unicorn here. Yeah, not quite. Just shy. Just shy. I'm still trying to think of my favorite soundtrack. There's favorite score and then there's favorite soundtrack. I got good... Yeah, Dave, don't blow your load just yet, okay? I've been waiting for that line, all right? We need to enjoy that moment. I love this scene right here. This is the scene I put on the thumbnail too, you know? She's about to break up with the douchebag. And she doesn't realize that he's a zombie. Such a funny scene. So maybe their problem was she didn't really pay attention to him. At least she's holding his hand. Kind of sweet. Is he worse than Trent? He could be. He could be. They shot him right in the head. You got Tom Atkins shooting him in the head, and then you got I think it's Chris, or is it CJ? We'll call it Chris. He shoots him with a flamethrower. Hold on, that's not fair. Hold on, I need to get it right. Or JC, sorry. Chris. It's Chris. On IMDb, they got like a picture of Chris when he's like a kid. How badass is that, though? You know, you're this 19-year-old kid, or I'm just guessing how old he was. And he gets to carry a flamethrower and a shotgun. I mean, what? That's like every young actor's dream. Iconic shot right there with the skull. Oh, here we go. They're dead. That is one of the greatest horror lines ever delivered. This movie is so awesome from this point on. It's so badass. Trick or Treat Fastway. Boy, that's a contender right there, man. Oh my God, that's such a great soundtrack. I was listening to Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk himself, the guy who knows pretty much every rock band that ever existed, has never listened to the Trick or Treat soundtrack. And he's a Fastway fan. That just baffles me. That just blows my mind. There's a lot of one-liners in this too. It's Miller time. There's one scene where Chris goes, "Later, dude," with the lawnmower. I mean, in a sequence like this, you have to have one-liners. It's almost a requirement, you know. Like, what do you say before you off the zombies? Jason Lives has a great soundtrack. Yes. I'd say Freddy vs. Jason has like one of the best rock soundtracks. Like that soundtrack's awesome. Repo Man soundtrack is amazing. I've never heard that soundtrack before. Beth, I might have to check that one out. Repo Man. Let me scroll back up. I'm going to read some of your answers here, okay? Hold on. Yeah, non-horror Stand By Me. Yeah, that is a phenomenal soundtrack. Yeah, I actually do prefer the Halloween 2 soundtrack over Halloween. But I'll say out of the Halloween franchise, Halloween 2018, I mean, pound for pound, where every track is excellent, I gotta say Halloween 2018. That is such a great score. The Crow score, the Crow soundtrack. There's my answer. The Crow soundtrack. That's my favorite soundtrack. Nothing will ever top The Crow for me. I mean, and what's great is when the Crow soundtrack came out, the only band that was like really known was Stone Temple Pilots. Maybe Pantera's on there too. There's a couple bands, but I'd say most of that album, the meat of that album, is unknown bands, and it's brilliant. The Cure, of course. The Cure Burn is one of my favorite songs, actually. It took them 20 years to finally play that song live, too. Both Bill and Ted soundtracks are awesome. CJ Dickey. Yeah, the Crow soundtrack had a great grunge vibe. But for me, it wasn't even about the grunge. It was about, like, all the songs felt like they belonged to that movie, you know? Like the scene where he goes into Fun Boy. Oh, here's the lawnmower scene. Yeah, she's getting pulled out, and he's gonna take the lawnmower after him. Later, dude. Chris. Yeah, it's Chris. There we go. Holly wants to know when another D-Watch is. I was actually thinking about that. You can expect another D-Watch not this Monday, but the next Monday, because I'll be off on that Monday, or it might even be Saturday. Because those are 2 days where I have the house to myself. So expect one either next Saturday or next Monday. Not this upcoming, but the week after. So in like 2 weeks, you can expect another D-Watch. So Tom Atkins, he probably fired more shots than he has in his whole career in this last act of this movie. Is this movie almost over? You guys made this fly by so goddamn fast. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 is a great soundtrack, Dave. Excellent pick. Night of the Demons, great soundtrack. Especially for the Angela song. When Angela does her dance in Night of the Demons, that song is so badass. Bride of Chucky has a good soundtrack for sure. Kung Fu says Leprechaun 4 Outer Space. I haven't heard that soundtrack yet. Jason Mongol says D-Watch Midnight Meat Train. I have never seen Midnight Meat Train. And I've never done a D-Watch for a movie I haven't seen because I like to plan them out, like which scenes I want to discuss. So it'll definitely have to be a movie that I have seen and I guess I'm well versed in. I was thinking about doing like a D-Watch for like Superman 2. If I did like a non-horror one, because Superman 2 was the first movie like one of my first movie memories. It's the first movie I saw in the theater when I was 6 years old. And I fell in love with Superman. Superman was like the greatest thing ever to me. Most people are Batman fans. I prefer Superman. People say Superman's not interesting. I disagree. I think Superman's very interesting. He's an alien. He came from another planet, and he has the power to squish our heads with just the 2 fingers. You don't think that's interesting? Of course, he would have to stretch his fingers out pretty wide, but still, he could do it. Okay. Raiders of the Lost Ark and Rocky soundtrack, legendary. Yes, I have the Rocky 4 soundtrack, and I have the first Rocky soundtrack, actually. Beth actually sent me the Rocky 4 soundtrack. I got like 2 copies of the Rocky 4 soundtrack, but one of them, the one that I had, it doesn't really work. It's one of those vinyls that I guess went bad or something. Beth says, do you prefer the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2? As a finished movie, no. I think there's some interesting scenes in the Donner cut, but for me, I think the Lester cut is the better cut of the movie. But the one scene that really resonates with me in Superman 2 is when he loses it. He gives up everything for Lois Lane. And then there's a point in the movie where, Zod and his henchmen, they come and they take over, and he's got to go back. He has this moment, this epiphany where I'm the only guy on the planet that has this power that can defeat these guys. I have to give up this thing that I love more than anything in order to save the planet. He had to choose the planet over the one that he loves. And when he goes back to Krypton, and he's asking his father with his head hung low because his father warned him. And then Christopher Reeve lets out this, father, this really loud and I remember just seeing that in the theater, and I got this chill down my spine. And I think that was the first really emotional scene that really moved me. So yeah, that's a great scene. There's a lot of great stuff in Superman 2, but I prefer the Lester cut. I do. Dirty Dancing. That would be an interesting D-Watch. So we're rearing to the end of the movie. Would I say rearing? Would that make a sense? Would that make sense? Would that make a sense? I can't even talk. Top Gun. That could be an interesting D-Watch. Do I want to do a non-horror D-Watch? That would be fitting for Top Gun 2 coming out. I don't know. Only if it's a double feature of Roadhouse. Yeah, Dirty Dancing with Roadhouse. He said my mom is a whore. And then Dalton goes, is she? I love that line. I actually have a Roadhouse t-shirt, by the way. I don't even wear it anymore that much, but it's the name of the club that's in the Double Deuce. Tom Atkins with his... I forgot Tom Atkins, like, his face got burned. So Tom Atkins Cameron gives his life. And so they left this movie wide open for a sequel. And then, yeah, you have this director's cut ending here that I don't really care for that much. The theatrical version is definitely the better version. Nobody puts Holly in the corner. Jason. Do you watch Red Dawn? Man, I haven't seen Red Dawn since it came out, I think. I didn't really care for the remake. Oh, Point Break. I love Point Break. The remake, one of the worst remakes ever put to film. Fuck that movie. I think I reviewed the remake of Point Break too. Oh my god, that movie was horrible. Horrible. Like, you talk about when you like inject the soul out of an original and then release a remake of it, that's pretty much what the Point Break remake is. There's no soul to it whatsoever. Yeah, like, this whole director's cut ending, it doesn't really work. It doesn't fit with the rest of the movie, and I think that's why they took it out. You got the alien spaceship, and you have... Oh my god. So they, in the director's cut, they don't have the scene where the dog walks up to Jill Whitlow and then the slug goes into her mouth. That's a much better ending. Holy crap. Guys, we just finished up Night of the Creeps. How cool is that? I had fun. Did you guys have fun? I had a good time talking about this movie with you guys, even though I barely talked about it. I apologize. I told you it wouldn't be professional. Hold on, let me turn this off. Now, if you guys want to chat for like 10, 15 minutes, we can do that. If you guys want to do like maybe just a bullshit session. You guys want to bullshit? You would think that I'm drinking right now. I am drinking. I'm drinking Monster, but you would think I'm drinking something with a little bit more kick to it. But I don't drink, so I don't know. So I'm glad I got this little ring light. So now, because now I can actually see myself. Swayze was a legend. Man, I saw the pictures of him like on his last days. And this is a guy that had so much life in him, you know? This is a guy that didn't want to die. And it's always sad when... I mean, none of us want to die, or hopefully most of us don't want to die, but it's always sad when you see somebody that like has cancer and all they want to do is live. They would give anything to live. I remember hearing this story, and this isn't about cancer, but this guy was parachuting, and you know, we always say like if I was like a paraplegic, if I couldn't move anything from the neck down, I wouldn't want to live. A lot of people say that. I've probably said that. But I heard this story of this guy, and he was jumping out of this plane with his parachute, and his parachute didn't open. And he said in that moment, he said, God, because this guy believed in God. He said, God, I don't care what you got. I don't care if I can only move my neck up. I'll take whatever I can have, whatever I can get. He says he for one time in his life he was actually given that. He was in that situation. That scenario presented itself, and he literally thought, "I will take anything you give me. If I have to live for the rest of my life in a wheelchair, I will happily take that over death." That guy lived. And I don't know what his condition was after. I literally think he fully, got up and he could walk and everything. It was one of those weird situations where he like said, God, if you can give me anything, I'll take it. And then, he lived full recovery, like insane. So it's one of those weird things. Like I just a really good friend of mine who we were stationed with. We were actually stationed here at Patrick Air Force Base. I live in Melbourne, Florida, which is right next to Patrick Air Force Base. Back in 2000 to 2003, we had some good friends. We lived in this neighborhood, and we had a group of friends. My kids were little at the time, so we'd have like birthday parties together. And his wife, she just passed away of cancer about 2 weeks ago. And it just shocked me, because this was a person that was like so full of life, so optimistic, and one of the friendliest people that I have ever met. His wife's name was Jen. And, I think over the last year, she had cancer and she passed away, and it was brutal. You hate seeing somebody that you knew very well end up, passing away. Cancer is a bitch. It really is. I mean, Derek, a lot of you guys that have been subscribed to my channel for a while, you might remember Derek from 2 years ago this month. 2 years ago this month, Derek passed away. And it just dawned on me a couple days ago. It's like, oh my God, we're in March 25th, I think it is. It'll be 2 years since we lost Derek, and I can't believe how time has just flown. And Derek was such a big horror fan. He was one of us. He really was, and he knew a lot more than I did about horror movies. But he really loved Friday Part 5. And I remember Deborah Voorhees actually had a phone call with him, and he was just like that was like the greatest gift that he could ever get, is to actually talk to Deborah Voorhees on the phone. I've thanked her every time I've talked to her since then. It's like, thank you so much for giving him that. But I miss him terribly. He was just like the nicest, coolest guy. And he's gone. So it just makes you realize, take advantage of those moments that we have, with our loved ones, and because you never know what's going to come your way. And I didn't want this to turn into something sappy or anything like that, but I just started thinking about this stuff, and it's weird. It's weird what life throws our way sometimes. But how are you guys doing? Did you enjoy Night of the Creeps? Daniel Chavez, you should check out this song "So Far Away" by Avenged Sevenfold. I've heard that song a million times. That's a great song, actually. Makes me think of the Rev. With the Rev's last album, where they had Mike Portnoy play on the album Nightmare. It's a great album too, by the way. But the Rev was one of the coolest rock musicians out there. A great drummer, definitely had his own style. And I'm a big Avenged Sevenfold fan, especially like Nightmare and I call it the White Album, the album before that, and City of Evil. The Avenged Sevenfold, they're great, really great. Make each day count. That is right, bub. This was fun. You have a great. Oh yeah, I always say I have the best group of patrons, and we try to have a lot of fun with each other. I'm trying to mix it up, and that's why I do all these vlogs. Like every other Saturday, I'll put together all my footage for my vlogs and put it out to you guys. I'm always trying to do something to like build some kind of community. I don't want just a patron page where it's just like a transaction. Where you donate to my YouTube channel, and I put out a video and we call. I don't like that. I want us to actually. That was a Howard Stern thing, Holly. I don't like that. I want to make it like a family. That's what I want, and that's why I try to get in there and just talk to you guys every day, just about something. I might post a stupid question, whatever. But yeah, Beth, I remember that lymphoma. So yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. I remember that. And I'm sure there's not a day goes by that you don't think about him. And my father's still kicking. And I swear, me and my sister, we always say that man will be standing long after we're all gone. And he's had a stroke. He's had quadruple bypass surgery. My father's in his, he's 80 now. Yeah, this year will be 81. But the guy's been through everything. And he, back in 2006, he was given a 50-50 shot to live, and he's still kicking. So, but I mean, he's he had a stroke a few years ago, so he has trouble walking now. And but he makes every day count. He definitely does. So, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like, if you want to say I love you to somebody, say it. Don't even think about it. Just say it, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's around the corner. So, hey, what do you guys think about this whole Corey Feldman thing? Isn't that crazy? Like, I wasn't that surprised that the name he mentioned was Charlie Sheen. But, you know what? It just kind of made me think back on Corey Feldman's whole life. And Corey Haim, and what those two guys have been through. And I know that you can be pretty skeptical about Corey Feldman's state of mind at this point. And I can't take anything away from the guy. I mean, for what he's been through, and I absolutely do believe that what he's saying does exist. There's some really, really bad things going on in Hollywood, especially back in the 80s. And I think that's the message we got to take from the whole Corey Feldman thing. I don't think we should be focusing on exactly what's going on right now, whether it's true or not. Which I mean, it's my opinion. I think it probably is true. And it also made me think of like Charlie Sheen. Like, I wonder what Charlie Sheen's childhood was like. Like, I mean, it could have been one of those things where this happened to Charlie Sheen and then it went forward. Who knows? But the big thing to take from it all is that it's a real problem that has went on in Hollywood for a long, long time. It's one of those known truths that a lot of people in the industry, they shy away from because, fear of losing their career, losing their job. And so I applaud Corey Feldman for shining a light on it. If anything comes out of this whole thing, whether his accusations to Charlie Sheen are true or not, if anything comes out of this whole thing, I hope it's something positive, and I hope it shines a light on a major problem, and hopefully it changes laws, and it keeps children safe. I think that's the big thing I take from it. I'm not going to try to focus on the negative, and I'm not going to try to say that Corey Feldman's insane. The guy has been through hell pretty much his whole life. And I know there's a point in life where you got to take responsibility for your own life. There's probably a little bit of that in there, but I mean, to be taken advantage of when you're a child, it can, more than likely, it's going to screw a person up for the rest of their life, and I'm sure some of you have probably seen this. So it's not something I'm going to dig too deep into, but it got me thinking about that whole case and how his he's finally getting the information out there that he wants. It's a shame that his whole documentary thing, it didn't go over, or does it even exist? I think it does. I mean, I from what I saw on his little panel, it was shown to this crowd of people, this audience. So I think it does exist, but it's a shame that he took it this far and then the whole presentation was hacked. It's unfortunate. And I haven't kept up to it to this very minute, so I don't know if it finally was released. If any of you guys know, let me know. I mean, I don't even know if I'd be curious to watch it, I guess, but I mean, none of it's going to shock me. Like, I know that this stuff exists. It's got to. You can see it in a lot of the child actors, who a lot of them they end up dying at a very young age. They end up completely screwed up. We've seen it time and time again. So Yeah, Musa says the stream did not work for people who paid $20. That's sad too. It's really unfortunate. I know Corey Feldman said that he would make sure that they get the stream or the documentary, whether it be in a hard copy or whatnot. But I mean, I'm sure he was probably sweating a little bit to have. I think he said they made $1 million or something like that off of the stream, and for $1 million worth of people to not get that documentary, the pucker factor is pretty real. So, so Holly says it was fixed this afternoon. The next afternoon, I watched it. Oh, okay. So yeah. So, what did you think of the documentary, Holly? Was it interesting? Corey Feldman is 48 and Sheen is 56. Yeah, that's about right. I mean, man, Charlie Sheen's life, Jesus, to do what allegedly by Corey Haim or Corey Feldman, because Corey Haim's not here to state whether it's true or not. But I mean, Charlie Sheen would have been what, in his early 20s, and Corey Haim would have been 13, I think they said. Insane. And you can see in Corey Haim, like, his life in later years, he definitely had some trouble down the line. You could tell that. Look, any child actor, even if they're not victims of, pedophilia, they can still be screwed up. So I can't even imagine adding that onto the mix. I can't even imagine. So my big thing is, I'm glad that Corey Feldman's actually getting the message out, and if anything, just raising awareness for it again. Jill, thank you for showing up, and welcome to my Patreon page. We do have a blast over there, and I'm about to wrap this thing up too, but I just wanted to chat with you guys for a little bit before we go. Yeah, Dino, definitely a deep, dark rabbit hole to go down. But I'm sorry guys, I was just reading. I've been reading through the chat. But yeah, anyway guys, I hope you guys all had a good time. I hope you guys have a great night, and thank you all for watching this movie with me. It was fun. And a big part of this is just, yeah, we watch the movie and we talk about the movie, but we talk about life, we talk about horror, we talk about whatever we want to talk about. I like to keep these things really loose. So anyway guys, we do these once a month though, so about the middle of the month we're gonna do another one. Yeah, I always like doing commentaries. They're just fun to talk about movies. So anyway guys, I'm gonna go, but I hope you guys all have a fantastic night, and love each and every one of you, you beautiful bastards.